two high-profile trials gripping the nation right now. We are awaiting the jury's decision on Ghislaine Maxwell, who was charged with grooming several underage girls to be sexually abused by the late Jeffrey Epstein, the disgraced money manager who had socialized with very high-profile names, among them Bill Gates and former Presidents Clinton and Trump. With Christmas Eve just over 48 hours away, trial watchers believe a verdict could come soon. In Silicon Valley, the jurors in the trial of Elizabeth Holmes have the day off, but will resume deliberations tomorrow. Holmes, founder of the now defunct blood testing startup Theranos, is charged with fraud and conspiracy, lying to investors and patients about her technology, which never in the end worked. But if there's a conviction in one or both of these cases, we need to tell you that the verdict is not necessarily set in stone. Just last week, a federal judge in Manhattan strongly rebuked the prosecutors in the case of convicted hedge fund executive Annalise Ahuja of Premium Point Investments and is ordering a new trial. Ahuja was convicted in 2019 of falsely inflating the fund's assets, but the judge ruled that prosecutors in the Southern District of New York withheld information crucial to the defense. Galleon Group founder Raj Rajaratnam, who was convicted of 14 counts of securities fraud and conspiracy, ended up spending 7 years in prison and paid more than $150 million in fines. In his new book, Uneven Justice, The Plot to Sink Galleon, he outlines what he says were outrageous, underhanded tactics by the same prosecutor's office, the Southern District of New York. Here to weigh in, former Galleon Group founder Raj Rajaratnam. Welcome, and thank you for joining us, Raj.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you for having me.
It looks like Neil Ahuja is going to get a new trial because that judge who oversaw his first trial bluntly said she was baffled and very unhappy that prosecutors made erroneous statements later disproved by government emails. Does any of this surprise you?
Liz, no, it doesn't. What surprises me is while the judge criticized the prosecutor, they didn't impose any sanctions. Now, my heart goes out those people, the families that had to suffer this ordeal, because it's not a fair game. When people like Mr. Ahuja or I go to trial, we expect a fair game. The prosecutors should be held to the same standards as the defense. If the defense lawyers lied in court or they lied to the jury, they would be sanctioned. Here, the prosecutors, for some reason, judges are reluctant to sanction the prosecutors. And while I applaud the judges to order a new trial, there will be no equality unless they sanction the prosecutors.
Your case involved trades in 8 stocks where, backed up by wiretaps, then U.S. Attorney for the Southern District Preet Bharara argued that you traded on inside information that wasn't available to the public, our retail investor viewers. What, in your mind, is the most blatant prosecutorial misbehavior that you dealt with?
Well, there was a series of blatant prosecutorial misconduct, and let me name a few. One is to try this in the media even before I knew what the charges were. When I refused to cooperate and point fingers at other larger hedge funds, they stacked my case from 8 securities to 34 to intimidate me. They named 2 of my siblings as co-conspirators. Then the FBI lied on their wiretaps to the court, and the court recognized it, calling it reckless disregard for the truth. And the prosecutors, in their summation to the jury, once again misled the jury. All of these are in court records, and it's outlined in my book, unevenjustice.com.
Mm-hmm. Well, you really describe Preet and the rest of the team as overzealous and media hogs. They wanted to get attention. But I do have to point out one thing, and I respect you because you had said to me on the phone before this interview, you said, Liz, nothing's off the table. You can ask me anything. I remember this trial, and one of the things that I looked at and thought, well, the jury's going to look at that and say game, set, match, was that during the financial crisis, One of your friends, a McKinsey executive who actually sat on the board of Goldman Sachs, Raj Gupta, had gone into a Goldman Sachs board meeting, and it was an important one, where it was revealed privately that Warren Buffett was going to give a big investment to Goldman Sachs just when the company needed it the most. That ostensibly could very much move the stock. And Gupta walked out of that meeting and called you 23 seconds later. You have said that always 100% of your trades were based on the written analysis of 35 analysts. Raj, how is somebody slinking out of a board meeting and calling you written analysis with investors? I mean, that one wasn't wiretapped, so we don't know what happened in the call, but it really didn't pass the smell test with the jury.
Yeah, Liz, if you, as I say, look at it very narrowly, you miss the whole context of my trading. Let me make a few points. I had no idea that Mr. Gupta was in a Goldman board meeting. I don't have access to his calendar. Number two, we were buying Goldman every day for the past 6 or 7 days because we thought TARP, the Troubled Asset Repurchase Program, was going to be passed, and that would help all financials. In fact, we bought Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, and the financial ETF called the XLF. That afternoon at 3:25, our consultants who were in Congress sent me an email saying it looks very likely that TARP would pass. If TARP passed, then the solvency of these investment banks would be greatly enhanced. Now remember, during that time, Bear Stearns had gone under, Lehman had gone under, and we were scared. So that day, I bought Goldman Sachs in the morning, and I was buying it throughout the day. Mr. Gupta called me. It was a 16-second call. And he says he doesn't remember the call. I do. And he asked me about an investment he made in a fund called the Voyager. And I said, Rajat, I'm in the middle of a big trade. My consultants said that TARP would pass, and I'll call you after the market closes. Mr. Buffett or his investment never entered the picture. I completed the trade, and if you look at the records, I called him for about half an hour at about 5:30 to talk about his investment.
You know, you argue in your book, and I find it a fascinating story that I think everybody should read, that the American justice system, you say, relies on plea bargaining, meaning admit to a lesser charge and you get a shorter sentence, especially if you agree to cough up the goods on somebody higher. You were that somebody higher, although, as I understand it, you were offered a plea deal as well to give up the goods on Mr. Gupta. You did not. You ended up spending nearly 8 years in prison. That's 8 years lost with your family, your friends. Why? Why didn't you take the plea deal, and do you regret that now?
Because I couldn't live with myself if I falsely implicated somebody else. I know it's the American system, and the expedient way is to plead guilty and not cooperate. But I wanted to go to trial because I was not going to plead guilty for something I didn't do. And at this point, I want to give a shout out to my lawyer, John Dowd, who stood with me strong and said, let's fight this one. This is just not correct. Because we had all the documents.
That's your right.
It's my right. And unfortunately, only about 2% of the people actually exercise their rights because, one, it's very costly. Number two, you need to have the mental fortitude. The emotional damage that it does with your family and yourself and your friends is tremendous. And this is why I feel for the defendants that recently in the Southern District, I think 2 judges, one you talked about, Judge Nathan and the Judge Failure, criticized the prosecutors but didn't sanction them. And this system will not change till the prosecutors are sanctioned. All we ask is tell us what the rules are in terms of insider trading or whatever it is, and then let's have a fair discussion. One other point, in most white-collar situations, the prosecution asks you to come in with your lawyer. In my case, the FBI came with their guns drawn early in the morning,
yanked you away,
yanked me, told my children, take a good look at your dad. You're not going to see him for 25 years. And told me that my wife seemed happy.
They deny that. They deny saying that you would, I mean, as they're arresting you, they said, take a good look at your family, according to your book. That's the last time you'll see them for the next 20 years. They deny that, but a lot of people, that rings as if they could possibly say that. We have to run, Raj, but I do want to ask you, insider trading, it's a very squishy law. Do you think that members of Congress should be banned from trading? I mean, these are big issues right now.
I think so. And I think recently the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, said she would not support a bill that bans members of Congress or Senate from trading. Let me give you a quick example. In the crisis in 2008, 34 senators and congressmen traded their own account when they heard from the Treasury Secretary, the Federal Reserve Chairman, that we had problems in the banking system. Once again,
Raj,
all I ask for is a level playing field.
Okay. The book is called Uneven Justice, The Plot to Sink Galleon. I'm 2/3 of the way through it, going to finish it. It's a very interesting story. Please come back.